Good morning and welcome to a live where I'm going to be sharing how to get creative. Well, I'm getting creative with some of my stamps and Jamie Rodgers Enchanted Sprinkles, which are wonderful. So bear with me while I just refresh my computer. And hopefully get some people joining. Just to make sure you can hear me okay. I did turn my volume up, but I can't see my little green light coming on. So if someone can give me some thumbs up, excellent. Thank you, Philippa. That's brilliant. Thank you, love. Good morning, everybody, and good evening to everyone the other side of the world. Always blows my mind. It's wonderful to have your company. Thank you. I'm going to flip the camera and show you what I've created. I'm going to combine my stamps, my Just Daisies and my postage stamps with Jamie Rodgers' beautiful Enchanted Sprinkles. These are mica powders with pigment and mica in, and they are so shimmery, and there is so much you can do with them. And I'm only scratching the surface this morning, but I really love what I've done. And I think I've come up with a way of, I struggle sometimes with putting too much on and spritzing too much. And yeah, so I think I found a way of making it get a bit softer. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to flip the camera and let me show you because it's much easier. So bear with. Let's get you positioned nicely. There we go. So there is a beautiful array of colours. Don't they just look gorgeous? I like it because it's got a little bit of colour down the side, so it does make it easy when you're actually picking the bottles up. Like I've just got mine in a basket, so when you're searching for a colour, to see that little flash of colour on the side, it does really help to pick them up. And I can't tell you how much I love Circuit Breaker. This is just going to be awesome for men's cards. There's blues in there, there's oranges in there, there's greys, there's black. Oh, it's just beautiful. So this is the card that I'm going to be making, but I'm going to put it to one side a second. I'm going to show you how to create a very soft background. It's still got, I don't know that the camera picks it up brilliantly, but the shimmer is absolutely beautiful. I used colour on a piece of card, and then I stamped my daisies on the top, and I have to say it's stamped beautifully over the top of it. And then I've come in, I've made myself little palettes. Oh, I've lost my teal. Where's that gone? There's absolutely nothing in there. Now, they all look dry and horrible, but you just literally put some water back in there and it reactivates it. I bet it's probably on my table somewhere. Oh well, I'll make a tidal teal one up so I can show you how I did it as well. So that's quite good, really. I'm sorry I haven't been looking at the comments at all. I'm hoping you're all just saying good morning. I'm sure you probably are. So I will show how I did this. I will show how I created the background. I love colouring with them. I actually went over the top and added some more colour, and you get more sheen and from the mica and everything. It's just beautiful. They are so lovely to paint with. I've painted the edge of my postage stamp with this, and I was thinking I might add a happy birthday, or I might put this inside because I decorated the inside as well of this card. Stamped in black, coloured with the paints, or what I've made as a paint, and then I've stamped in the background, and I have splattered little, I'm going to wait for my computer to catch up, and I'll get my phone to refocus, but I think you'll be able to see it. Well, I haven't got any, well, I do have some pigment powders, but the ones that I have, Philippa, were Fusions by Paper Artsy, and they all have brown tones in them. So although they're lovely, like for mixed media and stuff, these to me are pretty ones, if you like. These are probably much more along the lines, I haven't actually used or ever seen, so I shouldn't really say it, the pixie, is it pixie dust? I can't remember, but I would think they're probably more similar to that. But I just loved the colour palette. For me, these were all pretty colours. As you know, I love my painting. I couldn't believe this is onto a yellow background, and that green, because you're putting water with it and water reactivates it all the time. So if I put water on the top of this now, it would reactivate it again. It doesn't, it would dilute it, but it will still reactivate. But yeah, just to go over the top with green on the top of yellow, and it just took it beautifully. So yeah, I really have had a lovely time. But like I say, I have barely scratched the surface. Jamie's got some excellent videos on his website, on his YouTube channel, sorry, about using them. And I think it was Gwen that did the video. She shares lots of different ways to use them as well. So well worth a look, and definitely things that I will be doing or having a go at in the future. I know, the trouble is you do still want the new ones, don't you? And I had to say I was very lucky. Jamie sent me these as a gift. So thank you very much, Jamie, for that. I do really appreciate it. Yeah, it's very kind of you. So the first thing that I like to do when I get something like this is I like to have a bit of a play and swatch them, because I think you need to know how they come out for you. So on each, this is onto Super Smooth. So I sprinkled the powder on and then spritzed it. And this one, I made the paper, the card wet, and then dropped bits of powder onto it. And you do get a very different look. But I'm going to show you how I think I've mastered a way to get a very soft, subtle background, but you get, because there's so many different colours in here, when you put a lot of water with it, you tend to lose the definition of all those different colours. So I think I found a way of doing it so that you do get all those different colours showing, as opposed to it being a lovely soft blended background. They both are absolutely beautiful, don't get me wrong, but I think they both have a place for different techniques, if you like. And then I ink splattered it, so I put some out on my craft sheet, and I picked it up with the acetate and made an inky background. This one I painted on just with water, so I mixed it using my palette and put some on, and then I spritzed some water just on the top and used a kitchen towel just to wipe it off, and that revealed obviously the white underneath. I don't think, oh, I did do it on the back, so I've got both. But I don't know if the camera is really going to pick up how gorgeous this mica in it is, because it is absolutely stunning. And for me, it really was, it was the colours that did it for me. So there is cherry pop, there is Christmas red, which I just think is absolutely gorgeous. So I'll quickly show you all the colours. So Christmas red, then there's coral pink, and I think this has to be my favourite. This is such a soft pink that's got a lot of gold in it. I don't know if the blues are in it, because I had blue in my brush and I think I might have contaminated, so I might not be being very true. So I think you should ignore the blues. But yeah, absolutely beautiful. And the shimmer and the gold in this, oh, it's just so pretty. I love this one. So that's coral pink. And then there's golden yellow, which is golden yellow. It's absolutely beautiful. And again, I'm not sure if this is actually in it or whether that was on my brush. So you need to ignore the bluey bits a little bit, I think. Absolutely fabulous to do inky backgrounds with, picking up with the acetate. Oh, it was fabulous. And then there's sunshine yellow, sorry, which is a bit of a brighter yellow. This one's got a hint of orange in it and gold, but this one is more of a softer yellow, a sunshine yellow, like Jamie says. But just, again, the mica in it is beautiful. And I love that you can splat with water and you'll be able to lift the colour off as well. I do find it, and I know I've said this many times before, I do find it really difficult to read the comments and talk and demo. I know Philippa is on watching, I know that Jeanette is on watching, and I know that Jeanette has them, and I know Philippa has pixie powders or something similar if it's not pixie powders. So if there are any questions, please feel free to answer if you can. And if not, I will go back to the beginning and sit with my coffee and read all the comments like I always do. And yeah, if there's anything that needs answering, I will do if I can. I love this one. This is spring green. So when you don't add lots of water, you get the individual colours. But when you add a lot of water, you get the spring green colour, because obviously the colours, the yellow and the blue mixed together make that green. So you do get, I mean, look at that. Isn't it beautiful? Absolutely gorgeous colour. So you get very different results in the different way that you use it. So really, you're getting an awful lot. Okay, you're getting an awful lot for your money in just the one thing. So this is Christmas green, which it really is a Christmas green. But again, when you put the powder down and then spritz it, you get a very different look to whether you've made your card wet and you're dropping the powder into it. And then that's an inky background. That one I made it dribble. Yeah, absolutely beautiful. And then Tidal Teal. Now, yeah, I love this. Look at all those different colours in there. I'm going to show you something else that I did with Tidal Teal in a minute, and it will really show you. Like, so this is the difference. I'm going to show you now. I'm sure this is Tidal Teal. See, this is the trouble. That could be Stormy Skies. I think this one's Tidal Teal. Okay, so the new way that I do it now, look at the difference that I'm getting. And this is the same way. This is putting it onto dry card, but I'm going to show you how to get this effect. So you're going to see all those, so many more colours than just by spritzing it with water. Because I do find I get trigger happy with the water. And I just keep spraying and spraying, and it's like you don't really want to. So I will show you how I mastered that bit if you like. So that's Tidal Teal, and then Stormy Skies. Oh, I didn't show you that on the back, did I? Sorry. Look at that. It is a gorgeous colour, absolutely gorgeous. And then Stormy Skies. I really like Stormy Skies as well. Hang on, let's turn it around, get it the right way. Yes, I think that's right. So this is powder, dry powder, spritzed. This is wet card, spritzed, and then the powder dropped in it. And then the same again with our inky backgrounds. Easy to pick up again and get those lovely little splodges as well. So absolutely beautiful. And the mica sheen, honestly, I didn't think the camera, I don't know if the camera is showing it or whether you've got any, Elaine, but it is absolutely beautiful. This is Orchid. So again, just all those lovely mix of colours. Not till you really spritz it well with water does it mix and you get that actual colour. And that's the ink splats, the inky background and painting again. And then there is Decadent Purple. I mean, look, I mean, the mica in here is just beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. And I just love all the different shades that are in there. And again, you just get a totally different look once you add lots of water and get that colour mixed. So it is actually giving you the Decadent Purple. And then when I lifted with some water, this gave me like a softer colour underneath, which was, again, just gorgeous. And then this is Circuit Breaker. No, that goes that way. So there is orange in here, there is blue, there is some grey, there is some black. This is, sorry, this is Super Smooth, and this other one is watercolour card that I've done my samples onto. I wanted a bit of difference. And then look at this. When I painted with it, I got a really, don't think I put enough water with it to start with, but I was getting all the different colours, the rusty orange in there, the blue, absolutely gorgeous. And then when you do the inky background again, you've got oranges in there, you've got rust, you've got grey, you've got the blues. Such a great colour to use on men's cards. Absolutely stunning. It is, it's mind-blowing, isn't it? It is lovely. Okay, so they were the ones that I did first of all, and then these ones, I had a little play, and I was trying to work out a way of stopping myself adding too much water, too much powder, because you need so little. I mean, just look at all these. Look at that for circuit breaker. I mean, look at the difference. I just think this technique that I'm going to show you is just so good. I really do. And that's Orchid. And that's Decadent Purple, Christmas Red. This is my favourite. This is the Coral Pink and the Yellow and Cherry Pop. And I did another one of Sunshine Yellow because I used mine. Cherry Pop's lovely as well. So they are a powder. So they've got the pigment and they've got the mica in there. So I would recommend you give them a shake before you use them, just to make sure that they're mixed up. I don't know if the pigment is heavier than the mica. I really don't know. So if you give them a shake before you use them, then you know that you're going to get both bits coming out when you do it. So I'm going to do a Tidal Teal one because it did show lots of colours. Let me move my others off my table or out of view. I've got something on my mat which I didn't know I had, so bear with me a moment. Sorry, I just need to get rid of that. Oh, it's glue. Oh, I know. Right, don't let me forget to show you my new little trick. Well, I will show you. Will I? I will show you. Don't let me forget to show you the glue trick. I got it off of, well, I saw it on the internet and then Tracy shared it. And I bought some, why don't I share you it now? And then I won't forget, will I? But that's why there's glue all over my mat. I should have done it on a scrap piece of paper rather than one mat. But I'd forgotten I tried it out and it did work really well. So, I don't know if you've seen this, whether you saw when Tracy was doing it, but if you buy yourself some silicone pastry brushes and trim them down. Now this pack was 4 in a pack for less than £3. No, sorry, £3 something, just over £3. Oops. Ooh, they're very cheap, and I was going to say nasty, but they're not nasty. But they're very cheap. I'm not sure they'd be any good for pastry or decorating stuff really, but they're very good for this. So if you snip it down so that they're quite short, and I'm just going to throw all those bits away, going to give it a haircut. You want it to be as straight as possible, but it doesn't have to be perfect, okay? Obviously it does if you're cutting hair, so make sure. Yeah, if you're going to cut someone's hair, make sure you got it right, but it don't really matter for this. And then it is absolutely brilliant for gluing little accents. I'm going to put the glue on here. So you know, like our die cut words, I haven't got any die cut or anything ready, but all you have to do, have I got a word? Let me just have a look in my box. Oh, I know what I've got in here. Perfect. Okay, so I've die cut some letters, okay, and I want to put some letters, some glue on the back of my letters. So I've turned them over, they're upside down on my bit of card. I literally dab the pastry brush into the glue. Might need my tweezers, bear with me, sorry. There we go. I just hold it down and you literally just dab the pastry brush over your letter And the glue, you'll put little dots of glue on, whoops, on the back of it. And then you can turn it over, stick it down, and you don't get any glue on the front of your letters or any glue splodging out. So highly recommend. Off of Amazon. Or I know Tracy got hers in the pound shop. We don't have a pound shop locally, so it means a journey into town. So yeah, got them from Amazon. Absolutely brilliant for adding glue to the back of little sentiments. Okay, right, now I'm going to go back to what I was really meant to be doing. So I've got a piece of super smooth card, and I've got my Tidal Teal, and I just want a dry paintbrush. It must be dry. I might flick anything out that I might have in it. And then I'm going to put just a little bit of powder. Now, that I really do think, I'm going to bring it up so you can see, that was way too much, okay? But that really is a little bit of powder, okay? Then I'm going to get my brush and I'm going to move this powder around. Now, I saw Hazel doing, when she was demoing them, and she did a trick with using a brush to move them around. She had different colours at the top of her page, and then she used a bit of card to drag it down. She used a brush to start with, but then she used a piece of card, which was great. Got a bit of card on there. So now I've like blended it into the card, or moved it around on my card. So there's very little, it looks like there's very little. So then I've got a spray bottle. Now I'm not using my normal spritzer because the water's a bit too powerful. This one's a really lovely fine mist. But I do know that, I can never remember which way round it is. Right, light mist. Oh, okay, that's not it. Quickly pressing the trigger creates a light mist, and slowly releasing it gives bigger droplets. So if you do a quick, I will use this one, okay? So if you do a quick spritz, right, so now I've activated it. I've probably done too much. And I'm going to dry it. I have done a bit too much water there. It'll be fine though. Right, one thing I have found is that I need to hold the piece of paper up so the air can get through my card, and that way it's going to dry quicker. If you just hold it down on your desk, it just creates condensation. So then I'm going to wipe up. Oh, I've already got some on there. I want to use that. So you do need to be careful. I'm going to move this out of the way because any little bits, any dots and any water will activate them. Okay, so I'm going to come back in. So this, if I feel this now, I can still feel it's a bit grainy. Okay, so I can still feel some of the powder on there. But I mean, it's still a beautiful background. But if I come in again, I'm going to swap to this bottle because I had actually... But just by heating it once and then adding some... So drying it between applications, I have found gives me a much nicer... Well, a different finish, one that shows more of the colours that are actually in the mix, rather than it being the blended colour. That's a better way to describe it. So this is going to show all the elements that make up the Tidal Teal. Oh, I wonder why it's taken a long time. Hazel has a set of very fine... Oh, does she? Oh, right, okay, excellent. Yes, because I do think the finer... I did buy one of those big water misting bottles, actually. Put away, I don't know if there's exactly water in it. I'll have to find that. I don't know where that's gone, but I did buy one, and I couldn't stop it spraying water. But can you see now how I've got all the little individual elements, if you like, of tidal teal, as opposed to if I put it on and just keep adding water to it. So you get more little droplets, if you like the one, not that one, that one, like this one. So I could carry on adding water to this and it will still reactivate. You'll still get more colour out of it. I can carry on heating it and drying it. I mean, obviously eventually it'll run out. You won't get any more colour, but if you find you're getting too harsh and you want a softer look, just keep adding some water. But I have found that if you do it a little bit at a time, I prefer the results. But it's a personal thing, and there's nothing wrong with spritzing it until all the colours mix together, and that's, you get left with the sort of watery, the coloury wash, if you like. There's nothing wrong with either way. It's just I have found that I really liked the effect that it gave doing it this way. So I hope that helps you. So that was how I created that background. So put your powder on, brush it around, and then mist it, dry it, mist it again, so just a little bit. And then to make the actual paints, so I want Tidal Teal again, I literally put some powder in my palette, and that's probably way too much. And if I do this softly, it should be droplets. It's much easier if you do this, if you've got, actually I'll do it into my hand, if you have a pipette. And I know I've got loads that a friend gave me, and I've got to get my act together and find them. Okay, so I'm going to use my water brush, but you could just use a paintbrush, doesn't have to be a water brush. I'm just going to mix this up. And there's no right or wrong. You just put some powder in until you get what you like the consistency of. It's a bit thicker than just the water. Needs to be sort of single creamish, I would say. But they're all a bit different. And you just leave it in there. And now if I leave that in there for overnight, it will probably take to dry. And then just look. Oh my goodness. And this is just to clean my brush out. Just look at that colour. Oh, obviously, the more concentrated the powder is, than the colour is, whoops, the deeper your colour's going to be. I could put some of this out on my mat, which is how I've been using it. So I've been picking up a little bit, tiny little bit, and then just making my water brush, or adding a bit of water. And by doing that, let me just get some of this off of my brush, because it's picked it up from the palette, obviously, where it's been mixing it up. Let's bring in another bit of card, and then we can, and you're going to get a much softer, paler version of the same colour. And you can mix these colours as well. So you could have a little bit of Tidal Teal, add a bit more of the Sunshine Yellow, and you'll make a different greeny tone. So you can really play about with them. But the shimmer and everything on them is just amazing. So the mica in it is the magic. The magic of mica. How about that? Isn't that beautiful? Now, I could leave that to dry. You've got the lovely shimmer in it, and then I can die cut words out of it. So I can make sure that it matches the cards that I'm making as well, which is something that I do really like to do. So that's a really nice way to use it as well. Any of these, so like where this one is really dry and cracked and horrible, I mean, you can see how cracked. Look at this decadent purple. It's all like dried and it's just bits of like plastic, it looks like. So if I put a bit of water in it, it's much better if you put it on your hand and put it in. I do need to find that pipette. And then make sure my brush is clean. And then I can reactivate this and it just comes back to life. And it's ready to go. Make sure you rub all the way around the edge. Any of those dry bits on the side of your little palette. And again, I got these. These were an absolute bargain. I got 20 of them. Oh, I can't remember now. They were really cheap. Really cheap. And I wanted lots of different ones because I want to be able to have a pale version and a brighter version, if you like. So, I mean, look at that for a colour. That really is decadent purple, isn't it? And again, I'm just cleaning my brush off. But if I do this, then I can die cut. If you did a bigger sheet, you could die cut flowers from it. No reason why not. So let's just add a bit more, get a bit of this colour off my brush where I mixed it all up. So clean that off a little bit more. And then if I put a little bit more water with this, and now I'm going to get totally different colours. But again, leave that to dry and you can use that to die cut words to match in on your card. You'll get the shimmer show it. Oh, I mean, look at that. Just beautiful. Isn't it gorgeous? Oh, for me, I love colouring. So anything that I could colour with, and the fact that you need the tiniest little bit. I love the idea of putting them in the palette so that I can go back to them time and time again. And these will last me months and months and months. But I mean, just look at that. The stronger and more vibrant the colour is, I think you'll find that the mica is more vibrant and stronger too. Okay, so let's get onto our card because I'm digressing rather a lot. I'm just going to put those to one side. I know you don't mind. Okay, so I'm going to create my background first of all. So I'm going to use my brush again. See if I can get rid of my tidal teal out of it. Just literally flicking it to get any powder gone. And I'm actually going to do this one in coral pink. Just because I've got the sheet that I'm going to stamp onto. I will use this one because it's dry. So that is the one thing I would say is be kind to the stamping and let this really dry first. Okay, so give it a shake. So you've mixed the pigment and the mica together. So you get your mica magic. And I'm just going to pop. Now, I don't want it all over my card. If you remember, let me bring the card back in. There are some white edges showing around the edge of my piece of card. So I want that again. So I'm just going to move my powder. Move it around, but leave some white. You will get like a bit of colour showing on your piece of card. Always tap my brush and just see what else comes out. Right, so now I'm going to spritz with my fine mist. And I've also got the window open, which doesn't help when the wind is blowing slightly. Oh, there must be blue in it. Okay, so I'm going to grab another piece of kitchen roll because I don't want to contaminate any blue. Unless I've got blue in my brush again, which I might have done. because it's quite a strong colour blue to be making a colour. So just literally dry that off. If you get any big splodges of water, you can just come in with the kitchen roll and dry them off that way. Just dry that off. I just love the softness of it. And then I can come back in with my, I'm going to take this away, come back in with my mister again. And I'm just going to spritz a bit more to get that colour, oh yeah, get that colour bleeding a bit more. So it's still got that softness, and I'm actually going to try and knock those blue bits back a bit. So where I've got any of the blue and the water's on it, if you blot it, it should take some of that colour out. So I may well have had some little bits of blue powder from Tidal Teal on my desk, which I picked up. So if you get coral pink and don't get any blue in it, there's nothing wrong, okay? It's just that I had picked up some Tidal Teal maybe. I've got it on my fingers even. Right, so that is only one thing I would say, is if you are going out and you don't want mucky hands, when you're doing your backgrounds, it might be worth putting some gloves on. I mean, when I made all my swatches, I did get quite mucky, but I just used my pumice stone and a bit of washing up liquid and it all came off. This is back a little glass. See, I've got some blue on my mat, definitely. So I may not be being very fair about the colour with this one. I do apologise. But I mean, how beautiful is that? And it's all shimmery as well. It's honestly, it's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. So before I stamp my bits and pieces that I'm going to put in the background of my card, I'm going to leave this to dry for a bit longer. And I can bring in the piece of coral pink that is dry, and I will bring in my stamping press. And how I created this this is actually one continuous piece. So I stamped them and then masked it, but really you could stamp them individually and cut them out and then just put them together. But I did actually stamp them so that the stems were going behind the one in front. Entirely up to you how you do it. I did use the other little one inside, so it's up to you. Maybe we'll do this one a little bit differently. So I'm going to pop my piece in my press and firm it down. Then let's bring in my daisy stamps. So I use the individual ones. And I'm going to lift this up because I didn't need all of the bit at the bottom. So I'm going to start a bit lower down on my bit of card. So I'm going to pick my stamp up and let's bring this in. Let's get rid of the knife. Can we see that? I think so. I'm going to ink my stamp up. Every time I say I'm going to be tidy, I'm worse than ever. I'm going to stamp my stamp down, fairy fingers, don't have to be firm or anything like that, but look at that black ink stamping on that piece of coloured. It's just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. It stamps beautifully on there. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to clean this stamp because I want one to go the other way. Ah, is it, Philippa? That's really interesting. I didn't know that. The cardstock that I'm using is super smooth and it's 300 GSM. So next I'm going to have one that the daisy that goes the other way, but I don't want it to over stamp on the daisy beneath. So where is the stem? Let's pop this back down the bottom now on the sticky mat. So then I can get the whole of my stamp in. So wherever I'm going to do it over the top of the bud. So wherever the stamp's going to go, I want to make sure it's masked so I don't get the black of the ink showing. So as long as I've got pink tape, then that will be fine. So I'm going to ink my daisy, and my daisy is going the other way now. So that's going to be underneath the pink tape. So when I take this off, my stem goes back down behind the flower head. Oh, that's actually looking a bit pale. I'm going to stamp that again. I did say that I need a new ink pad. I must remember to sort that out. You don't have to push hard. If you do, you'll splay your design out, so you don't want to do that. So literally just down over the top. So let's clean this one off. And then I think I used the same as my first daisy, because that goes the other way. This is one of the reasons I wanted to have a daisy going one way and a daisy going the other way. So then I'll have that in there, and it's coming down on the petals, so I don't want any ink. So let's just check. So the ink's not going to, it's going to be on the pink tape, so that's fine. I might actually bring it down a little bit. So as long as the stem is on the pink tape, that's going to be fine. Okay, so then I'm going to ink this up again. I actually don't need to worry about inking the stem because I don't want it on there. And firm that down. That's better. And then lift that off, and your stem goes behind your daisy. So those little bits of tape are brilliant for just masking easily without having to cut the flower out, but just using a little bit of tape where you know the stem is going to be. So that can pop back in there. And now pull this out. Whoops. We have that beautiful stamp design on top. Oh, look at that shimmer. I hope you're seeing that. I really do. Now, I don't know what's going to happen if I coloured the leaves green, so I'm not sure I'm going to. I actually think I'm just going to come in with my coral pink, which is this one. I'm going to add a bit of water, make sure my brush is clean, and reactivate my coral pink. And then, because I don't want it to be too strong, I don't want to lose the pattern behind the flowers, I might actually just do the leaves. What I've been doing is putting my paint on my mat, and then my brush will water it down a little bit. So I might have a go at just doing the leaves. Let's have a go at just adding a little bit of detail, not all over it, but just down that edge piece and a little bit in the middle. Oh yeah, I like that. So that is the tiniest little bit that I've picked up from my mat. You can layer the colours up if you don't think it's strong enough to start with. It does dry back, obviously, because it's being watered down, you have to remember as well. So because I'm using a water brush, it's got water in it, so it's diluting it all the time. So you might need to come back in and pick this up and just add a little bit more depth but I'm happy with that. I can see a difference. You can see that I've added that detail into the leaves as well. And then as it dries, the mica just shines through. It's beautiful. So I am going to add a bit more colour to the middles of my daisies. And then I would also add just a little bit more colour around the detail that I put on at the top of the petals. If I bring that up, as that dries, it dries more the same colour. So if you want a bit darker, you can pick it up straight from the palette because it's more concentrated on here. But you have to remember as well that you're activating the colour that is underneath. So although you're adding the colour, you're also watering down the one that's underneath. So you might need a couple of goes at just adding that extra bit of colour, that bit of detail. But it's just, yeah, love it. I love how therapeutic it is, just a colour. And the fact that it's shimmery and such pretty colours. So if you've got any of that blue on there, it's going to disappear a little bit because we've got the water that we're activating underneath as well. So it's going to water that down. I hope that all makes sense. So you can see the difference. Oh, Jeanette, I'm sorry. Hope she feels better soon. But you can see the difference in the adding that bit of tone on tone colour. I'm not sure that this one lends itself to being made green, but I'm intrigued. I have a little bit left, so I might try up there in a second. So while that just, let me find my scissors. Okay, who stole my scissors? I mean, I know it's me, obviously. Right, so I'm going to let this just dry. I'm going to cut this out. So on this little bit here, I am just going to try add in a little bit of, yeah, let's do spring green. So even just with the water from my brush, it's activating it enough to pick up some colour. So say there was a leaf on here that I'm just going to colour in. Oh wow, look at that. And that's the spring green straight from the palette, so it's quite strong, but it goes over the coral pink beautifully. So I could have done the leaves, but I think it's rather nice. It's going to look different to the first one as well, which I always like it to be a bit different. But so the colour goes on and covers up even over the top of the red, and I thought we might get brown. I wasn't sure. Okay, clean my brush off, as we're not having any green on this one. Move that out of the way. So then I cut this out and I just cut round, leaving a border. I did want a bit of the card to show because it's got all the lovely splatty background, if you like. So you could cut this as a strip, as a panel. You don't have to cut round it. It could go on your card as an actual panel. And then you would get, oh, you could do torn edges, couldn't you? That would be nice. And I've just had a thought. Oh my goodness, I wonder what this is like on vellum. Now, I know vellum doesn't particularly like lots of water. Oh, but wouldn't it be lovely if it was all shimmery on vellum? Ooh. That's got me thinking as well. I wonder what it'd be like on foil or mirror card too. Although it's coated, isn't it? So it might not work on mirror. It might not work on vellum because vellum doesn't take water. Oh, I might just have to have a play. Oh, that's lovely. I'm glad you can see it because it is there, and it's like sometimes I really worry that it's going to pick up the actual detail. The coral pink has just got so much gold in it. It's absolutely gorgeous. And I know that you can buy these individually, so you don't have to buy the whole set. They do come individually. So if there's colours that you don't think you need, or that you'd like to give it a go with a green and maybe a blue and a pink, because then if you've got blue and pink, you could probably make purple. You know, don't forget that you can mix the powders as well. Oh my goodness, my head's whirring. But you could, with the Christmas red and green, I've got, I've done a little background for something. And the green just looks absolutely beautiful as an inky background. So I put a little bit down on my mat and then picked it up with the acetate. And it just looks beautiful. Okay, so I'm just cutting, leaving a border because I do want that, like I say, I want that lovely inkiness to show through. And I cut it all the way down to the stem, and then I can cut it to fit in a minute. Okay. So then you have to decide. So I want it to fit on my card, so I'm going to trim. This will go on there. I'll trim it properly in a minute. So do I want to have it that way and try and hide a few of the blue bits? Typical, it don't go on blue at all. I just have to embrace the blue bits, don't I? So let's turn it back that way because I like this splodgy bit. Okay, so that is going to go roughly on there on my card. So let's pop back into my, oh, let's get rid of that. It's dry, that's good. Pop this in here. Now I want it so I can get all the way around the edge because I like things overhanging. So I'm just firming that down. I'm going to use my magnets to hold my flowers roughly in place. Make sure you can see this okay. Then I'm going to get my block and I'm going to start adding some of my postage marks. So first up, I'm going to add my Scent with Love. Oh, I've got the wrong colour ink pad out because I was going to do orange. I don't know if I've got a coral pink colour. Okay, let's, I wonder what that colour's like. I think this might be, this is rose, I think this might be, no, it's totally the wrong colour, Julie. I really want pink like that. So probably, I think this is going to be too pink as well. And I don't know what I've done with my abandoned coral. Yeah, that's too pinky. Oh, there it is. I can see it. It's in my orange set, that's why. Let's just check, but I think abandoned coral, distressed oxide will be perfect. Oh yes, lovely. Okay, so I'm going to have, so that I can see my postage mark, and then I'm going to move this over slightly. And I love the fact that you can turn this round so you can have your wavy lines going either way. I love that. And then I want Special Friend. So we use that one next. Usually do in threes. I want some that you can see so that the person who's getting the card knows that you put Special Friend on it, but that they can see it. But the other ones don't have to be complete. You to be able to see them completely. I don't mind if the flowers go over the top of it a little bit. That's going to be fine. And then we'll have some envelopes. So I'm going to use the little envelope and just dot these. Again, I would probably work in 3s, maybe do this in 5 actually. Let's have, need some little bits over there, and let's have one down there. Perfect. And then I have to have the little heart, so I always put 2 on the bottom, but I always use the bottom left hand corner, and then I ink my heart up, but the daisy is going to stay clean. And I did do a couple of stampings from these. I'm going to do a solid one on my envelope. Oh, hang on, let's just lift my mat up. It's a bit of a cheats way to do it, but the stamp was too close to the edge. Oh, I've got a lovely blue thumb, I've just noticed. Must have picked that up from the tidal teal. Look at that. But it will come off with soapy water, and I've got like a, I'm sure it's a pumice stone. Oh, let's have a couple there. And one there. It's quite nice to have some up here as well. And then maybe just a couple more. Let's lift this up again to get it out. There. Right. I think. Oh, and I did some daisy. I did my daisy definition. Of course I did. So let's pop that on my stamp. If I put it on straight, it just helps me to make sure I line it up properly. Okay, so I'm going to put my just to say in here. So I want to make sure that I get my daisy, one of them at least, that you can read. So if I put my just to say there, no, I'm going to come up here. And then we'll have one bit over here. That just about gets in there. And then I don't mind if you don't see all of the rest of it. That's fine. You just want some of it showing. Okay. So let's pop that on. Leave those in there. Let's take this out. Got that bit ready. Now I did have my 2. So I've got 2 postage frames. One of them has got a lovely bit of blue ink on it now. Loads of blue ink on it. So I'm just going to use a bit of water and try and blot that away, because that is a lot of blue powder. No, I think I'm going to have to stamp another one. This one should be all right because I'm going to cut around the edge. I tried to do it in advance so that I'd done one. Never mind. Oh no! Oh, I think I found my... You know, I'd said I'd lost the teal, tidal teal. I think I found it. I think it was on my desk. The bit of plastic, and the water has reactivated it. And it's all over my stack of cards. Okay, let's get that away, out of the way. Yes, I think that might have been what happened, that the piece of plastic had come out of the little tray and it's found its way onto my stamping book and the tissue and my thumb. Let's get rid of that. Okay, let's stamp some more postage stamps. But it's even got it on here, so got to be careful. Right. So pick my postage stamp up, and we only need 2. So I can stamp one up here. Ink that up. Stamp that out. And then because I just need another one, I'm going to cut them out. I can just lift my piece of card up, make sure it'll stamp okay. Stamp that down. Okay, so they're ready to be cut out. So you can either use the guillotine that cuts apertures, or you can use a craft knife, or you could cut an X with a craft knife and use your scissors. Or if you've got a die that fits in there, you could use a die to cut the centre out. I cut the centres out before I cut the postage stamp, around the edge of the postage stamp, because it holds it more in place. It's not so flimsy if I've only got the little postage stamp to hold on to. So doing it this way round, I can cut the centre out and then I can cut round the outside edge, because I want it to be like a frame just around. I should get my card. I hope it's not covered in blue. So I want it to be just a frame around the edge. That one needs a little bit into the corner. I didn't quite. And if you don't find it very easy to, that's better, trim it off. You can always use scissors just to get into those little corners if you've missed. As if you haven't quite cut far enough, but you obviously don't want to slip. But you can always neaten it off with your scissors. Which I may well do in a minute. Okay, so one more. Yeah, I'd cut these out ready, so I didn't have to do this. But it's good to see. I've done one, so I didn't do both. Oh, does it? Excellent. Okay, I've got some hand sanitizer. I will use that afterwards, Sue. Thank you for that. All these fabulous tips from everybody. Thank you. Okay, so I've only got little blade scissors. If I had big blade scissors, I could cut these out with scissors. But as I don't, I'm just going to use my guillotine once I've got one edge. It's usually okay. I try and cut them all the same, so I try and find something to line it up. So I'm lining up the bottom of the dips with the plastic bit, but also know that I'm going to get an edge, a little border. So lining up the dips of the postage with my plastic guide, and then I've got a little bit of leeway for the actual postage stamp. The same again, don't know if my edge is straight, so I'm going to use it away from the bottom. Once I've done it once, then I can use it on the bottom. Make sure your guide is down, otherwise it will move. And now this way I've got my postage cut out. It's all the same because we use the lines as a guide. Okay. So now to fit these over my flowers, to make sure that that one is okay. This one, I think I had to cut, oh, but I've done it differently this time. So I had to cut this one to fit this frame round it, but it's worked differently on this one, so that's fine. Okay, so I've got my 5x7 card that I've made. I'm going to take a piece of my pizza box just a little bit smaller. Let's just mark where that needs to go, and then where that needs to go. And then with our guillotine, because it'll give you lovely straight edges, and it goes through the cardboard easily. Keep those bits. And then I've got the perfect size ready to go, mount onto my card. So, and I have to say, if you haven't tried cardboard instead of foam pads, honestly give it a go, because it is lightweight. If you get the right size cardboard, and I find that pizza boxes are pretty good, it's a nice cardboard, but it's not too thick, it's just about right. Firm that down onto there, but it stabilizes everything, and it just gives your card a really nice feel about it. And then glue on the back. Because the card is 300 GSM, we won't see the writing through it or anything like that. So we've got our card blank. Make sure we've got it up the right way. Layer it down with a nice border around the edge and firm that down. Your ink should be dry by now. And then I'm going to stick, I stuck my frames on with foam pads, the little skinny ones, which I do allow myself to have. And I try and catch part of the flower and the leaf on the back, so then that's holding that in place as well. Just a little bit in there, and then right, you've got to make sure you've got it in the right place. Let's just move that a little bit, it's not quite right. So I've got caught on the where I caught it on the leaf that I wanted to stick it down on. Now I don't. Let's put it apart. Should be all right. I just want to turn that round a little bit. So you do need to make sure you got it in the right place. Oh, come on. That's better. I was going to say, usually they break easily. Right. So make sure you get it where you want it first of all. That looks better. And then we will pop that down on there. Okay, so now we'll make sure that we've got this one positioned correctly. So I want it to come down a little bit. So the top of the flower is just popping out. Pop some foam pad across the back there. Hope it's going to stick, because I've got a lot of glue on my fingers. And then one piece down there and one piece there. And now we can take, hasn't got any stick left on it, take the backing off. I've moved that one again, haven't I? Right. Okay. That's got it where I want it now. Take the backing papers off of these ones, if they'll come off. Oh, see, this is why I love cardboard. Why is it they come off easy sometimes? I've never had this much trouble with these, I have to say. These do usually come off pretty easy. Well, I'm just going to pop a little bit on there. Otherwise my frame's not going to hold up. There we go. Pop that bit down and remove that bit. Right, so then I'm going to put some glue just in the middle so that the other bits get stuck down. Okay, so I'm going to stand up just so I can look through the camera. Make sure this is about right. Firm that down, and then I can just snip the bottom part of that off. That's perfect. Okay, I need to find, and I have lots cut somewhere, which I can't show you in my box, but bear with me. I'm sure I've got lots. There we go. So I've got a banner, and I want to show you something else that I did as well. So I want a little blending brush and a little foam pad, and I didn't do this with my matching ink pad. I did this with my Enchanted Sprinkles. So let's bring a little bit of coral pink. Now I only need a tiniest little bit, okay? You don't need lots. So just spritz it with the water, and I'm going to pick up the coral pink. I might need a little bit more. There was quite a lot of water. There we go. So I've got the coral pink now on my dauber. Get as much water out as I can. Then I can pop a little bit of coral pink around the edge of my message banner. And leave that to dry. But I'm going to not do it with that. What a clean. Oh, I threw it away, didn't I? Because it had all the teal all over it. Okay, let's just do it with this. Blot that off so that's dry. And then be careful of that because that will be wet. So I'm going to get rid of that. And I'll get rid of that. All you need to do, like to get rid of anything that you've put down with your paintbrush, is just spritz it with water again and it'll just reactivate it. Okay, so this one, I just want to stamp a Just For You. So that was in the Daisy set, or Just To Say, wasn't it? Just To Say. And then I can use it for whatever I need it for. So I'm going to stamp it towards the left-hand side. I'll pick that up. Ink just that up. Oh, I know what this would look nice with a few butterflies or something on it, wouldn't it? That would look nice. And then I'm going to chop this down. Oh, I did do my 3 little dots. So, what did I do the pen for that? Oops, bear with me. Oh, there it is. So I just, with a black fine line pen, added 3 little dots. And then snip this straight off. And then this can go on. You could put this on with foam pads if you wanted to raise it up, but it might just be nice to have it at that height, just flat. That look about straight, I think so. Yeah, a little butterfly would look nice, wouldn't it? Especially done with the lovely inkiness. And then inside, I splattered some dots, stamped another flower and coloured it in, and then added a little bit of the stamping from the front. But so we've got two totally different colours. So we've got the Golden Sunshine, which is that one, golden yellow, sorry, golden yellow and coral pink. And I have to say, but all the colours are just beautiful. They really are. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Let me very quickly No, Pam, I don't eat a lot of pizza, but my children quite like pizza, so I ask them to keep the boxes for me. I'm sad, aren't I? Okay, bear with me a second. I'll just flip the camera around. I do like to say goodbye. So I just want to thank you for your company. I can highly recommend Jamie's Enchanted Sprinkles. I'm having a lovely time with them. Like I say, I've barely scratched the surface with them, and I'm sure you're going to be seeing them coming up in the weeks to come, just to see what else you can do with them. I want to put them into the Mr. bottles that I bought. I know you can do it with the metallic ink inkers, but you can do it with this as well. So you put a little bit of powder in, a bit of water, shake it up, and it gives you a mist then of the lovely gorgeous pigment mica. And you should see it in through a stencil with gel paste and then sprinkle the powder into it. Oh my goodness. Make sure you go and watch the YouTube videos over on Jamie's channel as well. But absolutely fabulous. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a lovely rest of the day, and I will see you again soon. You'll be getting a little notice soon, so you need to keep next Wednesday free, okay? Wish I had a carrot. I should have done that, shouldn't I? Here's a carrot. Anyway, thank you for your company. I've really enjoyed it. I've had a lovely morning, and I've got another nice card ready to go. Okay, you take care, and I will see you soon. I will go and download this and Tracy's video as well, because I haven't done that yet. And that frame was just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And those flowers with this would just look stunning. Anyway, I digress. I will take a photo of and put it up of both of the cards as well. Okay, thanks for joining me, and have a lovely rest of the day. Bye bye.